Godzilla! I've been looking forward to this one, and it didn't disappoint. But you must be forewarned. Don't go into this expecting non-stop action. If you're patient, don't worry. You get to see your monsters with some really great payoffs. Alright, this is my review for Godzilla that is directed by Gareth Edwards, and it stars Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Elizabeth Olsen, Bryan Cranston, Ken Watanabe, David Strathairn, and Juliette Binoche. Now, I've been reading a lot of people's initial reactions to this, and for the most part, Godzilla fans have liked it. But I find it unrealistic if you go into this and you want Godzilla to be the main character. If you want Godzilla to have 50% of the screen time. Or if you want a monster fight every 20 minutes. If you want that, this is not it. But this movie does have a lot of good things going for it. Let's talk about the acting. This movie is really well set up. Thank you, Mr. Cranston. Everything that he did, it worked for me. I didn't feel like it was over the top. For me, it felt like it was pure gold. And it helped set up his son's character, played by Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Ford Brody, which his character didn't have a whole lot of dialogue to work with, but he was an interesting character because he was a military character. So when he saw these big, huge monsters, he didn't freak out. He relied more on his training. So as a general audience, perhaps people will find it more difficult to relate to him, but his interactions with his father, played by Bryan Cranston, are his best scenes. Ken Watanabe and David Strathairn were both good with what they were given. And of course, I adore Elizabeth Olsen. Wow. But if somebody were to tell me that character development was the weakest part of this film, I couldn't really argue with them, because they do take the time to set the stage so that when things start happening like this, it just becomes characters reacting to what's going on. And that brings us to the directing by Gareth Edwards, in which I saw his previous film Monsters, in which you can tell that he can develop characters, which this movie does in the beginning. I liked the pacing of this movie. I liked the execution of the story. For a big tentpole film like this, I thought it was very well done. It didn't come across like there was a lot of compromises made between his vision and the studio's. I wanted to feel the weight of these monsters. I wanted to feel the tension and the menace that there's this huge creature, beast, right in front of me that's either going to eat me or step on me. And I got that. And a lot of that had to do with the cinematography. This film is very well shot. It felt like they were going for some nice signature shots in this that would help redefine this franchise, as well as pay homage to the classics and the source material. The paratrooper scene had some really nice, nightmarish qualities about it. There was a nice sequence on a train bridge that had really good tension with these troopers and a huge monster right beside them. And of course, Godzilla coming into San Francisco. Whew. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of other Easter eggs in this that I probably missed. Let's talk about the score. There are some nice bombastic pieces going on during the action. And there are some nice haunting choral sounds going on during those nightmarish scenes. All of that stuff really worked for me. But I felt like it was missing one signature theme. And, well, that's just a minor quibble. It just would have been nice if they had used it. You can sort of tell that I've been dodging the story. So let's talk about it. From the trailers, you can tell that Aaron Taylor-Johnson's character is married to Elizabeth Olsen, and Bryan Cranston is his father. Ken Watanabe is a scientist that is aware of Godzilla's existence. I really enjoyed how this movie started off in Japan and how it had to do with nuclear energy. They did a really good job of explaining how these creatures could exist within our present realm. With the whole idea of, well, what would they eat? How would they sustain themselves? All of that was really well done. It's all pretty logical when you think about it, in the sense of Godzilla's mythos. In a nutshell, basically, this monster wakes up in Japan. It crosses the Pacific to North America. Godzilla is sleeping. He is aware of this perversion and awakens, and he moves to intercept. It does a really good job of paying tribute to the idea that there are big weapons that the Earth has that would rise to defend it in its time of need. Overall, this is a fun movie to watch, and watch it on the biggest screen that you can. There are some minor things wrong with it technically, so let's try to score it. For movie points, I'm going to give full points for directing and cinematography. Now, this is where I'm going to break things up. Between the story, between the acting, and the score, I'm going to give 2 points, and this is why I'm doing it. The acting, for the most part, was good, but not enough for a full point, and it was better than half a point. And a lot of that had to do with the absence of some character development, which had to do with the story, which was also very good, but wasn't worth a full point, wasn't worth half a point. Was better than half a point, sorry. And same thing with the score. So between those three factors, I'm giving 2 points. That is a 4 out of 5 for technical points. And how I felt about it, I really like this movie. I would give it 5 out of 5, but it was missing that one theme, so 4.5 out of 5 for my points. That equals 8.5 out of 10 for Godzilla. And I think that's pretty fair. Alright, if you've liked what you've seen, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe.